And that's why he's up there, and he's a good shooter, and when he's on, he's hot. And towards the latter part of the season here, Jeff's kind of thrown it into gear, and that's a good sign, I think, for the Raiders coming down the stretch here, going into the playoffs.
The Burr Burton Bulldogs being introduced right now. The name has come to me now. It's A.J. Husband, who hit the shot with 2 seconds to go the other night as Springfield defeated Rutland High. So the Raiders at 8-4, once again overall 6-9 for the Burr Burton Bulldogs. This, even though this is a Marble Valley League matchup, it's A against B. So we'll look at the overall record from here on in. The Bulldogs have been introduced by Glenn Olson, and the Raiders to be introduced now as we speak. And as they do that, we'll take this 60-second timeout. And we're set to go here at the Keefe Gym. Boys basketball, Rutland High against the Burr Burton Bulldogs. And definitely a big game for the Raiders after the loss, number one. Number two, to try to obviously get as highest seed as you can possibly get. And number three, with a big matchup with Brattleboro, you want to go into that game on a winning note. John Stempeck is on the clock and the scoreboard. So we are super confident. John Stempeck, senior, that is. I'm a little disappointed in this crowd tonight, Andy. I know MSJ is playing in town tonight, but it's a pretty good basketball team, and you think people would turn out.
The weather's got everybody scared. You guys having the winter warning updates all morning.
Well, that was a watch, actually.
You and Bascom scared everybody to stay home tonight.
It's Dudley against St. Peter, and St. Peter wins the jump to Luke Barron. The Raiders going left to right here in the first half. Sin with it, drives baseline, lays it up. No good left-handed, and the rebound goes out of bounds, and it goes off Burr Burton's Damon Dudley. Burr Burton going right to left here in the first half, so the Raiders get set to put the ball into play from the baseline with Mike Siebertson as Burr Burton sets it up, and the man-to-man pressure comes into Jimmy and Agnes left sideline. Jimmy sends it to the left side of the circle to St. Peter, right wing to Siebertson. Dribbles a few times, down low to Sin. His turnaround is no good. We get a foul going against the Bulldogs. I believe it's on Matt Sieska. It is on Sieska, who is a senior. First on Sieska, and that is the first on Burr Burton. It is a shooting foul. Sin at the line for two. Jeff Sin, a 6-foot senior. And Sin looks and fires. He's got it, and the Raiders lead it 1-0. Jeff Sin will get another. Second shot by Sin is good. He rattles that one home, and the Raiders lead it by a score of 2-0. The Raiders will set up in the man-to-man pressure as Brownlee throws it into the forecourt now to Sieska, and his three-point attempt is good. Matt Sieska, a three-pointer, and Burr Burton leads it by a score of 3-2. Jimmy and Agnes now right baseline to St. Peter, drives, reverse layup, no good, and the basketball goes to Sin, and he lays it in. That actually was an air ball, and eventually came down to Sin, and he laid it in easily, and the Raiders lead it 4-3 as Luke Barron picks up Bill Brownlee, left side of the circle as Brownlee holds it up now for Burr Burton. Left sideline it goes to Sieska, who hit the three. Now with it is Rasheem Lee, top of the circle. On the bounce right side to Wilcox, to the right sideline it goes to Brownlee. Now with it Sieska, back to Brownlee, down the baseline. His short jumper's no good. Rebound underneath goes to Dudley, and he lays it in. Damon Dudley on the offensive rebound for the bucket. He's a sophomore, and Burr Burton leads it 5-4. Some token pressure by the Bulldogs. Goes to St. Peter to Sin, drives, lays it up, no good as he went left baseline, but we got a whistle and a foul against Burr Burton, and I believe a foul on Rasheem Lee. It is on Rasheem Lee. That is his first, and that is the second on the team. Lee was shaken up a bit, but he's okay.
The three-pointer by Sieska. The Raiders struggled a little bit coming down defensively. They didn't get set up, and I think they might have been a little lost with who was covering who, because he was all by himself, and I think he was surprised when he turned around. He just took the shot, so that's why the Bulldogs have that 1-point lead right now, but they're kind of an up-tempo team. The Raiders are only playing that half-court press right now.
Sin was at the line for 2, missed the first, connected on the second. 1 out of 2 for Jeff Sin. That ties it at 5-5. Bill Brownlee going to work on Barron into the lane, lays it up, no good, but we're going to foul on Luke Barron. First on Luke Barron, first on the team. They did call it on. What did they call it on? They called it on Sin. He was on the other side. I'm sorry. Jeff Sin on his first, and that's the first on the team. And at the line for 2, Bill Brownlee, a senior for Burr Burton. His shot is good. He'll get another as Burr Burton leads at 6-5. Apparently, Sin must have got him as he went toward the bucket there because Barron followed him all the way down the line or down the lane. As Brownlee hits the second as well. 2 free throws for Brownlee. 7-5, Burr Burton. Sin with it in the backcourt for the Raiders. Sin into the forecourt, throws it for Luke Barron to the right side of the lane. Running right-hander, no good off the glass. And the rebound is controlled by Sieska. Matt Sieska sends it ahead now to Lee. Lee into the forecourt, dribbles to the right sideline, picked up by Siebertson. Back out front to Bill Brownlee now, halfway between the circles, picked up by Barron. Now it goes to Dudley, right sideline. Out front to John Wilcox, who is a senior. Wilcox against St. Peter. Feeds it underneath. He wanted to go to Rasheem Lee. Lost the handle. It goes out of bounds. Off Rasheem Lee. And the Raiders controlling the backcourt against some full court. Man-to-man pressure by the Bulldogs. And Agnes will break it easily into the forecourt. Throws it cross court now left side to Sin. Dribbles into the lane. Dumps it off for St. Peter. And he lays it in as he went baseline. And that ties it at 7 apiece. 5:48 remaining first quarter here at the Keep Gym at Rutland High. Both teams in the man-to-man defensively. Bill Brownlee with it. On the right goes to Dudley, right side of the circle. Dudley picked up by Jimmy and Agnes. Dudley sends it to the right sideline to Wilcox. Cross court now to Brownlee. Left side of the lane. His short jumper's an air ball, and it goes out of bounds underneath, under the bucket. It went out of bounds off Brownlee, so the Raiders control in the backcourt. Jeff Sin throws it to Barron. Barron into the forecourt. Looks like the Bulldogs have set up in the zone now. As Barron dribbles to the right sideline. 2-3, Burr Burton zone. Went to Sin, back to Barron, now to Siebertson, back to Barron, back to Sin on the left. Lines up the 3, fires and drills it. Jeff Sin, a 3-pointer. The Raiders lead at 10-7. As I understand, he hit that all night, the other night against Springfield. Into the forecourt, Brownlee against Luke Barron. The Raiders remain in the man-to-man. Now with it, John Wilcox. He has the ball knocked out of bounds by St. Peter. Brownlee, Lee, Wilcox, Dudley, and Sieska for Burr Burton. Barron, Sin, St. Peter, Siebertson, and Anagnos for Rutland High. As Rasheem Lee gets the ball into play to Dudley, back to Lee, right sideline. And Lee is fouled by Mike Siebertson. And fouled on Siebertson is his first. It's the second on the team.
Well, it's all Jeff Sin right now for the Raiders. He's got 8 of the 10 points.
Rasheem Lee with it, right sideline, wanted to go to the corner. Ball picked off by Barron. His pass intercepted by Dudley. Goes to the lane, lays it up, around the rim and in, but it won't count. Damon Dudley was whistled down for the traveling violation, and Rutland High will control in the backcourt. Raiders lead at 10-7 with 4:46 remaining here in the first quarter at the Keep Gym. Into the forecourt, Luke Barron now. Luke Barron to the left side of the lane. Loops it underneath for Siebertson. Lays it up, no good. And the rebound comes out to Brownlee. Starts the break. Burr Burton was in the man-to-man again that time down the floor. Brownlee goes right sideline now to Dudley. Back out to Wilcox. Top of the circle up for 3. Around the rim, no good. Rebound Brownlee. Back up and good. Bill Brownlee, the offensive rebound for the bucket. The Raiders lead it by a score of 10-9. Send to the right baseline to St. Peter, and he stepped on the baseline. He's out of bounds. And Burr Burton will go on hoop in the backcourt. Well, Burr Burton, that one time down the floor for the Raiders, went to the 2-3 zone, but then went back into the man-to-man the last time down. Into the forecourt, Bill Brownlee for the Burr Burton Bulldogs, picked up by Luke Barron as he dribbles to the right. Goes to the right sideline now to Rasheem Lee. Rasheem Lee against Siebertson, back to the sideline. And his pass intended for Wilcox, picked off by Sin. He goes coast to coast and lays it in left-handed. 12-9, the Raiders up by 3. Into the forecourt, Brownlee. Brownlee top of the circle. Got a whistle and a foul away from the basketball.
It's on Lee.
It's on Rasheem Lee, and that is number 2 on Lee. Got Burr Burton for 3.
Moving pick. He stepped out.
Evan Hill checks into the ball game for the Bulldogs. Hill is a sophomore, and Rasheem Lee checks out with the 2 fouls. Into the forecourt, Luke Barron. Looks like Burr Burton back into that zone. Apparently they'll be switching up now to Sin, back to Barron, right wing on the bounce, right corner to Mike Sievertson. Along the sideline as he dribbled once, looped it back out to Barron, to Nagnus. Now left sideline to Sin, up for 3, short, no good. And the rebound goes to Dudley. Dudley starts the break and sends it down to Evan Hill. Back to Dudley, left baseline. Throws up the jumper. It's no good. Rebound to Sid. Sin dribbles up for the Raiders quickly. Throws it down court for Sievertson. Sievertson picks it up left sideline. Loops it out front now to Luke Barron. Barron dribbles to the left and stops. Back to Sievertson, left sideline, up for 3. Bang! Mike Sievertson, the three-pointer. And the Raiders go up 15-9 with 2:53 remaining first quarter. Into the forecourt, Bill Brownlee, a senior for the Burr Burton Bulldogs. On the bounce right side of the circle, he goes to Wilcox, picked up by St. Peter. Now it goes on the left to Sieska. Hasn't touched the ball in a while since that three-pointer early in the ball game. Now to Hill, from the sideline of the key right side. Hill dribbles right to left, top of the circle. On the bounce, left sideline, he goes back to Sieska, pumps up the 18-footer and hits. Just dribbled just inside the three-point line and hit the bucket. 15-11, the Raiders by 4. Sin with it down the right sideline against the Burr Burton zone. Out front to Barron. 2:17 remaining in the quarter. Barron dribbles to the left, has it near the left sideline, and dribbles to the right on the bounce up top to St. Peter. On the left now to Sievertson, into the lane, lays it up and in. Nice move by Mike Sievertson as the Raiders lead at 17-11. Into the forecourt, down the middle comes Evan Hill for the Burr Burton Bulldogs. Lost the handle on the dribble, picked off by Nagnus. Down court to Sin, he drives and lays it in. Raiders making it look easy in the early going. The Raiders lead at 19-11. Getting set to check in for, well, the Bulldogs have a man checking in here in just a few moments. As with it is Brownlee to Hill, right sideline. Give and go back to Brownlee, and he lays it in. 19-13. Raiders have the lead here. Sievertson with it, left sideline, out to Barron. Left side of the circle, back to Sievertson, left baseline. His jumper's good. 21-13. The Raiders up by 8, 1:15 remaining first quarter. With it is Brownlee. Brownlee sends it out front now to Wilcox, and Wilcox is fouled as he takes it to the key. As wholesale changes for the Raiders here. Barassa is in. Well, we'll get to that alignment in just a moment. That foul was on Dudley, his first.
It was on St. Peter.
Oh, I mean, on St. Peter, I'm sorry. His first, and that was the third on the team. Taking the three-pointer and hitting is John Wilcox. 21-16. St. Peter, of course, for the Raiders, and look at Dudley's number on the other side. 47 seconds remaining here in the first quarter. As Anderson with it, sends it out to Parker on the left to Pinney, down low to Anderson, out of Berquist into the lane. His short jumper's around the rim and in. 23-16, the Raiders lead it by 7. Pinney, Berquist, Anderson, Barassa, and also Barker all changed, got into the game for the Raiders as they had the wholesale changes 5 for 5. Josh Amadon is in for Burr Burton. He checked in when those 5 Raiders checked in. As Burr Burton controls the basketball left sideline, Wilcox with it to the left baseline, and he's fouled. 12 seconds remaining here in the first quarter. The Raiders have a 23-16 lead.
The foul's on Barassa, I believe.
Foul is on Barassa, his first. As Burr Burton controls with 8 seconds remaining in the quarter. Hill now to Brownlee, top of the circle, to Dudley in the lane. His turnaround's no good. Barassa the rebound, 1 second left. He goes to Pinney as time expires, ending the first quarter. So we played one, and it's been all Raiders in the early going. After one, the Raiders 23, Burr Burton 16. We'll be back after this 30-second timeout.
Our service makes warm friends.
Just want to get the team fouls. Again, that foul was on Barassa before the end of the quarter, his first. The Raiders have 4 team fouls. And Burr Burton has 2, and they're both on Rasheem Lee, who's sitting down right now. correct?
No, you gave Luke Barron a...
Yeah, but it's 4 on the board. I know. I remember that with Luke Barron. I'm just going to keep that at the back of my mind. Raiders set up the 2-3 zone as Burr Burton controls here at the beginning of the second quarter. Amadon with it. On the left now goes to Dudley, to the left corner to Wilcox. He head fakes on Barraza, back out to Amadon. Back to Wilcox, left corner. Back to Amadon, left sideline. Sends it out front to Hill. Dribbles once, right sideline. He goes to Brownlee. Brownlee had the ball knocked out of bounds by Berquist. Just underway in the second quarter, the Raiders lead the Bulldogs 23-16. Berquist, Anderson, Barraza, John Barker, and Brian Pinney, the alignment right now for Rutland High. Brownlee, Amadon, Dudley, Wilcox, and Hill for Burr Burton. Wilcox, a three-point attempt, no good. The rebound comes down to Anderson, outlet to Barraza to Barker. And Barker dribbles into the forecourt, picked up by Hill out front on the left to Pinney to Anderson, left baseline. Back out to Barker, right side of the lane. Forces the shot off the glass, no good. Wilcox, the rebound for Burr Burton. Again, Wilcox, Brownlee, Dudley, Amadon, and also Evan Hill for the Burr Burton Bulldogs. With the left sideline is Wilcox with it. Back to the left wing to Amadon. Back to Wilcox, left sideline. Cross court to Brownlee. Lost control. Picked off by Pinney. Dribbles behind the back. Had it stripped by Brownlee. Picked up by Berquist in the backcourt. Throws it to Barraza to the right wing to John Barker. Barker top of the circle to Brian Pinney now. Pinney tried to beat inside. I'm not sure where he was going. Maybe to Berquist inside. Went by him and out of bounds. And Burr Burton will control in the backcourt. Rolling up by 7, 23-16 with 6:38 remaining in the first half here at the Keefe Gym. With it out front, Amadon now to Dudley. On the left to Brownlee. Lines up the three. His shot is no good. Rebound to Anderson. Anderson to Brian Pinney. Pinney into the forecourt, down the middle. To the left side of the circle, he stops. Now to Anderson, and Anderson is fouled by Dudley. And that is Damon Dudley's first.
That's their fourth.
That is number 4. See, I can't see. That's what I wanted to do. Part of our scoreboard is missing where they give you the team fouls and so forth, and I can't see that part, so that's why I wanted to catch up on it. Barraza underneath, and we got a traveling violation on Barraza. So Burr Burton has 3 team fouls. The Raiders have 4.
I've got it the opposite
We got it for 4. I can see the board. It says 3 for Burr Burton. We'll have to square that away as the Raiders are in the 2-3 zone. With it is Evan Hill, left sideline. And out front he goes to Brownlee, halfway between the circles. Brownlee pumps up the 3 off the back of the rim. No good. Rebound, Kyle Berquist. Berquist spins and goes to Pinney. Pinney into the forecourt. Pinney down the right sideline goes to John Barker. Barker looking inside, down low, wanted to go to Anderson, knocked away. Back to Barker. Off Berquist, his pass goes to Pinney. Back to Barker, right wing. John Barker to the right side of the circle of Barraza, now to Pinney, left side of the circle. On the cut to Anderson in the key, left sideline, back to Barker, picked up by Hill. On the bounce down low to Anderson, goes baseline and lays it in. And the Raiders go up 25-16. 5:33 remaining first half. The Raiders in that 2-3 zone with his second unit in there. As Sid Thompson substituted 5 for 5 late in the first quarter. Here's Dudley for 3 from the right corner, and he drills it. Damon Dudley, a three-pointer for Burr Burton. They have 3 3-pointers in this ball game. And the Raiders lead at 25-19. Berquist sends it out front now to Pinney. Up for 3, no good, short. Rebound goes to Hill. 5:06 remaining first half. Raiders have a 6-point lead. Down the middle comes Hill against a 2-3 zone. Now to Amadon. Wanted to go to Dudley. By him, picked off by Barraza, but he was pushing off Mark Barraza on the foul, and that is his second foul. And that's the 5th on the team. As back into the ball game is Matt Sieska for Burr Burton. Also back in is Rasheem Lee, and out Brownlee, and also out of the ball game Josh Amadon for Burr Burton. Barraza is out, and into the ball game Brent Bliss for Rutland High. With it is Hill on the right to Wilcox, and the bounce into Dudley, right side of the lane. Takes the 14-footer, it's no good. Lee the rebound in the lane, back up and good. Burr Burton climbing back here, 25-21. The Raiders' lead has been sliced to 4. With it is Bliss in the lane. His 14-footer's an air ball. Anderson tries to save it, then it goes out of bounds. And it goes out of bounds off Wilcox, so the Raiders will control from the baseline as Barron, Siebertson, St. Peter, Anagnos, and Sin all come in for the Raiders. For Bliss, Barker, Pinney, Barassa, and Berquist. 5 for 5 substitution again for Sid Thompson. Severson gets it into Sin. Left baseline, lays it up, no good. Rebound tapped around. And finally, coming out of the pack with it is John Wilcox of Burr Burton. Has it in the forecourt right sideline. Sends it out to Sieska near the right sideline. On the bounce now, it goes to Rasheem Lee. Back, it goes to Wilcox into the lane. His short jumper around the rim, no good. Rebound to St. Peter, chases it down left corner. St. Peter on the bounce goes to Luke Barron now. Barron down the middle. Barron goes all the way to the lane, to the left sideline to Sin. Up for three, no good. Rebound comes down to Dudley. He went to Rasheem Lee, Lee to Evan Hill. Evan Hill is a sophomore, directs the attack, picked up by Barron. The Raiders back into the man-to-man with this unit. Dudley with it right sideline, out front to Wilcox, right side of the circle. Now to Sieska, left wing, back to Wilcox, top of the circle. Picked up by St. Peter. Back to Sieska, dribbles left to right. Sieska on the bounce, goes to Dudley near the right sideline, pumps up the three, no good. Rebound, Rasheem Lee, lost control, it goes out of bounds. And it goes off Burr Burton, so it goes off the Raiders, so Burr Burton will control from the baseline. And on the bounce, it comes into Sieska, now to Hill. On the bounce, now to Wilcox, right side of the circle. Dribbles around, dribbles to the key to the line, fires up the 15-footer, no good. The rebound, back up and good by Damon Dudley on the right side of the lane. 25-23, Rutland by 2, 3:15 remaining first half. Burr Burton back in the man-to-man, and Agnes with it left baseline, short jumper swish. Raiders lead at 27-23. Raiders going with St. Peter, Barron, Severson, Sin, and Anagnos. Hill, Dudley, Lee, Sieska, and Wilcox for Burr Burton. With it is Rasheem Lee, right sideline of Wilcox. He has it right sideline. Dribbles around, sends it to the right baseline to Sieska. Sieska dribbles back out front now, and is really bothered by Sin. Great defense by Sin. Dudley with it now. Dribbles into the lane, dumps it off for Lee, lays it up, no good. A rebound is controlled by Mike Severson. Severson dribbles up, throws into the forecourt now to Jimmy Anagnos, right sideline, he pulls it up. Anagnos back out right side of the circle to Mike Severson. Dribbles once now to Sin to the right baseline. Sin now to Anagnos, has an opening, lays it up, no good, it wouldn't fall. Severson the rebound, back up, no good. Rebound tapped around, back to Severson, he dribbles back out toward the left sideline. Looks at the bucket, on the bounce down low left baseline to Anagnos. Offensive foul on Jimmy Anagnos. First on Anagnos. And that is, I believe, 5 on the team.
I've got 6 on the team.
Now we got 6 on the team. They put 2:09 remaining here in the first half. The Raiders lead at 27-23. Brownlee is checked back in for the Burr Burton Bulldogs. He checks in for Evan Hill. Left sideline, Sieska with it. Sieska dribbles left to right. Now goes to Brownlee into the lane. His runner is no good off the rim. Rebound goes right to Lee in the lane. Back up and good. His short jumper in the lane. And the Raiders lead it by 2, 27-25. A minute 43 remaining in the half. Here's Anagnos with it in the key. Almost lost it. Barron picks it up. On the bounce to Sin. Right baseline. His short jumper off the rim, no good. And the rebound is controlled by Wilcox of Burr Burton. Now with it is Bill Brownlee. Brownlee, Rasheem Lee, and Wilcox are all seniors along with Sieska. Dudley is a sophomore. Down low, Lee lays it up, no good. He was fouled. Rasheem Lee will be at the line for 2. This should put the Raiders over the limit. Jimmy Anagnos on the foul, his second. And if I can just see that board, Burr Burton's got 4 team fouls.
I've got that one.
Now we'll never know really on the Raiders, except for the fact that in the first half anyway, except for individual fouls, as Lee is at the line for 2, his shot is around the rim and in. He'll get another, because they'll be going to the line anyway from here on in with a minute 21 remaining in the half. The Raiders lead it by 1, 27-26. Rasheem Lee has hit the first. His second shot is no good off the rim. The rebound goes to Stu St. Peter, outlet to Sin. Sin into the forecourt down the left sideline. He goes now to Luke Barron at the sideline. Now to St. Peter, turns, fires up the 17-footer and drills it. 29-26, the Raiders up by 3. Slowly up court, Brownlee into the forecourt on Luke Barron. Brownlee dribbles to the right on the bounce, right sideline. It goes to Damon Dudley, holds the ball over his head. Dudley is a sophomore. Back out to Matt Sieska to the right sideline. Throws up the 3, no good off the rim. Rebound St. Peter. Outlet to Barron. 47 seconds left in the half. Barron to Anagnos. His shot is blocked out of bounds by Damon Dudley. And the Raiders will control from the baseline with 44 seconds left in the half. As into the ball game is Gary Hedman for Burr Burton. Hedman is in for Rasheem Lee. Severson looking to throw the ball into play. Gets it into St. Peter, right baseline. His shot is no good. In and out. Wilcox the rebound, and he hands it off to Brownlee. 29-26, the Raiders by 3. 33 seconds remaining in the first half. Brownlee pulls it up, left wing, goes to Wilcox out front. Wilcox to the key to the lane. Running right-handers, no good. Offensive foul on John Wilcox as he pushed off Stu St. Peter with the other hand. First on Wilcox, that is the 5th on the team. And the Raiders will control in the backcourt with 26 seconds remaining in the first half. The Raiders have been outscored here 10-6 in the second quarter. Low scoring second quarter. Brownlee picks up Luke Barron as he dribbles into the forecourt and stops. 20 seconds left in the half. On the bounce left sideline to Jeff Sin. Sin going to work on Sieska. Sin dribbles to the key to the line. Back out to Anagnos. 10 seconds left in the half. Now Severson with it left wing. Dribbles left to right. Now to Sin, right wing. 5 seconds left. Out to St. Peter. Straight on for 3. It's no good off the glass. And the rebound goes to Rasheem Lee as time expires, ending the first half. And a pretty good ball game. It's a 3-point Raider lead here at halftime. At halftime, our score, Rutland 29, Burr Burton 26. Burr Burton outscored the Raiders 10-6 in that second quarter. The Raiders outscored Burr Burton 23-16 in the first quarter. So again at halftime, our score, Rutland 29, Burr Burton 26. We'll be back after this 2-minute timeout. Burton as we get set for second half action here. Rutland won the JV game tonight 75-35. We've seen Burr Burton with 3 3-pointers. The Raiders have a couple. Sinn's got one. Severson's got one. And for Burr Burton, Sieska's got one right off the bat at the beginning of the game. Wilcox has got one, and Dudley's got one. It'll be Jeff Sinn, for a second, Andy. I'll just set the alignment here. Luke Barron, Stu St. Peter, Mike Severson, Jeff Sinn, and Jimmy and Agnes for the Raiders. Wilcox, Sieska, Brownlee, Lee, and Dudley in there right now for Burr Burton.
I was just going to say the Raiders got off to a big start, 23 points in the first quarter, and they really cooled down, only got 6 in the second quarter.
Raiders basketball going right to left here in the second half. Pass down low to Barron. Head fakes. Reverse layup is no good. Rebound tapped around. Scramble for the basketball. Barron tapped it into the backcourt. Run down by Severson. Severson back into the forecourt. And that's not a backcourt violation because nobody had possession. To send St. Peter. His short jumper's good from the right side of the lane. Good ball movement for the Raiders, and they lead at 31-26 early going third quarter. Inbounds pass stolen away by Anagnos, and he lays it in. Stole the inbounds pass from Rasheem Lee and laid it in. It's 33-26. So just like that, the Raiders lead it by 7. Brownlee with it in the backcourt, chased around by Luke Barron. The Raiders in the man-to-man. Brownlee breaks the pressure, dribbles right to left into the key. Left wing now to Wilcox, dribbles left to right. On the left he goes, left sideline to Rasheem Lee. Lee looking inside, feeds it out front to Brownlee. Right wing now to Wilcox. His three-pointer is an air ball, comes down to Dudley underneath, tried to save it and lost it out of bounds. We have a whistle. And I believe Dudley's been shaken up here. It'll be Rutland's basketball that went off Burr Burton. Damon Dudley is slow to get back to his feet, but he's back up. Limping just a bit. Damon Dudley, who is a sophomore, and he'll come to the bench and get a breather, but he should be all right. He should be back in the game before too long as Evan Hill, another sophomore, checks in for Dudley. So the Raiders lead it here by 7, and unofficially their biggest lead has been 9 in the first quarter, and the Raiders have the basketball. Down low, Sin drives baseline, lays it up, no good, left-handed. Rebound fought for, back up and good by Stu St. Peter. The Raiders go up by 9, 35-26 with 6:40 remaining third quarter, and Jeff Houghton wants a timeout. We got a timeout on the floor. We'll be back after this 30-second break. The game tonight being taped for telecast at a later date on Channel 15. Brian Mayhew is the cameraman.
It looks like Dudley's got a sprained thumb. He's getting taped up right now.
Thumb and he limped around too when he came off. Burr Burton's basketball. The Raiders lead at 35-26. 6:40 remaining third quarter. Lee gets the ball into play to Brownlee in the backcourt. Brownlee picked up by Barron as he trots into the forecourt. Now to Hill, left sideline. Picked up by Jimmy and Agnes. Hill running right-hander as he went toward the lane, and we got a whistle and a foul against the Raiders. And it is on Jimmy and Agnes. That's number 3 on Jimmy and Agnes, and that is the first on the Raiders. It was before the shot. Burr Burton controls as we had an inadvertent buzzer here. Play is underway. Now they finally blow the whistle. Now, apparently they thought some substitutions were coming, and they're going to start it over again from the sideline. And the inbounds pass from Hill intended for Brownlee, knocked out of bounds by Barron. Here we go now. And Damon, as we get the buzzer, Dudley is in for Hill, so Dudley's okay. And Brian Pinney is in for Rutland High for Jimmy and Agnes, who sits down with 3 personal fouls. And Rasheem Lee gets set to put the ball into play for Burr Burton, left sideline in the forecourt. And he loops it in for Dudley, drives, lays it up, in and out, no good, rebound Severson. Severson dribbles up, sends it ahead now to Penny, right sideline, now to St. Peter, right side. To the right side of the lane, pumps it up, no good. Rebound is controlled finally at the sideline by Matt Sieska. He goes to Bill Brownlee. So Burr Burton controlling, Brownlee into the forecourt, the Raiders in the man-to-man. Brownlee picked up by Luke Barron. Brownlee to the key, to the line, spins to the lane, drives, scoops it up, no good. Foul against the Raiders. It's on Brian Pinney. And that foul on Pinney, number 1, number 2 on the team. Brownlee in the act of shooting will be at the line for 2. As it looks like Hill is going to check back into the ball game for Dudley, who's really limping now. Dudley got injured earlier, tried to go back in. Apparently can't do it. He comes back out of the ball game. 6 minutes remaining third quarter. It's Rutland 35, Burr Burton 26. The shot by Brownlee is no good. Off the back of the rim, he'll get another. Second shot by Brownlee is good. He gets 1 out of 2. And it's 35-27 Raiders. With it is Penny, right wing. Cross court, left wing to Sin. To the left side of the lane. Pulls up with the jumper's no good off the back of the rim. Lee the rebound. With it now is Bill Brownlee. Brownlee into the forecourt down the middle for the Burr Burton Bulldogs. Dribbles to the left sideline. On the bounce down the sideline to Wilcox. Wilcox out front to Sieska now. Sieska back to Brownlee, right wing. Brownlee dribbles to the lane. Pulls it back out. Goes right sideline to Evan Hill. Picked up by Sievertson's man-to-man. On the bounce back out to Sieska now to Wilcox right sideline. Picked up by St. Peter. Cross court now. It goes to Brownlee. Has it between the sideline and the key. Brownlee falls down, picks it up, and goes to Hill. He almost lost control. Hill back to Brownlee, left side of the circle. Good defense put up by the Raiders. Brownlee on the bounce out to Wilcox. Dribbles into the lane. A short jumper around the rim and in. Wilcox dribbled to the lane. Short jumper was good as he got the roll. And the Raiders lead at 35-29. Penny to the lane. 14-footer short, no good. And Penny on the rebound. We'll get a foul on Penny, I believe, as he followed up the missed shot. It is on Brian Penny. Number 2 on Penny, number 3 on the team. So Burr Burton will control in the backcourt. Burr Burton's made a couple of runs here. The Raiders look like on the verge of blowing it out in the first quarter and here in the third quarter. But Burr Burton hanging around. Brownlee with it in the forecourt for the Bulldogs left sideline. As the Bulldogs break that full court Raider pressure. The bounce right sideline, it goes to Sieska. That's Sieska now to Evan Hill, right side of the circle on the left to Brownlee. Between the sideline and the lane. Brownlee to the left corner to Wilcox. Up for 3, he's got it. Wilcox a three-pointer as Burr Burton's coming back. It's Rutland 35, Burr Burton 32 now. 4:25 remaining third quarter. Sin with it, left side of the lane. Back out to Barron, up for 3. Bang! Luke Barron, a three-pointer. So Barron answers the three-pointer from Wilcox, and the Raiders lead it by 6 again, 38-32. Here in the backcourt, Wilcox trots it into the forecourt left sideline. He goes to Brownlee into the lane. A short jumper, no good off the back of the rim. Brownlee the rebound, back up, no good. They'll get a whistle and a foul on the floor before the shot. And the foul again is on Penny. Penny with 3 now, 4 on the team.
Yeah, Penny's come in here in the second half. He came in for an Agnes originally, who got his 3rd foul, and he's got 3 in a row there. So he's got 3 now.
Current foul. Sieska throws it out front to Hill now, halfway between the circles. Brent Bliss getting set to check in for the Raiders, undoubtedly for Penny, who's got the 3 fouls. Rasheem Lee with it. Sends it to Brownlee. Had to chase it down left sideline. Brownlee picked up by Luke Barron. 3:44 left third quarter. The Raiders up 38-32. Rasheem Lee picked up by Penny, halfway between the circles. On the bounce on the left, he goes to Wilcox way out front. Picked up by Stuart St. Peter. Wilcox dribbles around and stops. Looks right, goes left now to Sieska, back out to Hill. Burr Burton very deliberate against that man-to-man pressure. And the pass intended for Brownlee, knocked away by Barron. He tried to throw it off Brownlee, but couldn't quite save it at the sideline. Nice play by Barron, though. As Brent Bliss checks in for the Raiders for Brian Penny, who sits down with the 3 fouls. Burr Burton will control from the right sideline. John Parker getting set to check in for Rutland High. Parker, a 6'1 junior, comes into the ball game for Luke Barron. Rasheem Lee will put the ball into play. Lee, Hill, Brownlee, Sieska, and Wilcox right now for Burr Burton as the pass came into the backcourt to Brownlee, almost picked off by Sin. Brownlee back into the forecourt for Burr Burton. Top of the circle. On the right, off the bounce, he goes to the right sideline to Rasheem Lee. On the bounce to Wilcox, between the sideline and the key, way out front. Wilcox dribbles into the lane, running right-hander, no good. Rebound, off St. Peter to Sin, starts the breaks, got Sievertson with him. On the bounce to Sievertson, stops at the baseline, ducks underneath, lays it up, no good, he was fouled. Sievertson had the ball at the baseline. And we got a foul. Who would they call that foul on? It's on Evan Hill, his first on the team. It is a shooting foul. Mike Sievertson will be at the line for 2 for the Raiders.
The Raiders jumped right out. You were mentioning how they got a decent lead, and then the Bulldogs came right back.
Sievertson hits the first as the Raiders go up by 7, 39-32.
And then they jumped right out here again in the third quarter, and the Bulldogs came right back again.
Second shot by Sievertson is good, and the Raiders up by 8 again, 40-32. A couple of free throws for Mike Sievertson. 2:50 remaining third quarter here at the Keefe Gym. It's a big ball game for the Raiders. They got Brattleboro coming up on Friday. Brownlee to the right corner to Wilcox. Wilcox looking inside against St. Peter. Goes to Sieska near the right sideline. Matt Sieska on the bounce to Hill to Lee, and Lee's shot blocked out of bounds by Sin. Lee had it underneath. Jeff Sin came over to wrap the ball out of bounds. Great play by Jeff Sin as Wilcox will put the ball into play on the baseline for Burr Burton. And he tried to loop it into Lee, picked off by Sin. Sin into the forecourt, down the middle to the lane. Running right-hander, no good. Follow up, St. Peter, no good. St. Peter again, back up and good. St. Peter with a couple of offensive rebounds, got the bucket. And the Raiders now all of a sudden have their biggest lead of the ball game. The Raiders lead it by 10, 42-32, 2:15 left third quarter. Sieska with it left sideline, goes to Brownlee. Brownlee into the lane, running right-hander, no go. Rebound to Sin. Sin starts the break. Sin into the forecourt. We got a foul on Brownlee. Bill Brownlee on the foul, his first, second on the team. Luke Barron gets set to check in for Rutland High. He'll be checking in for Jeff Sin. What a ball game tonight so far for Jeff Sin. Ben Anderson checks in for the Raiders. And checking out of the ball game will be Mike Sievertson.
The first action.
Brent Bliss is also in right now for the Raiders.
He was injured.
With it now is Anderson down low to St. Peter left baseline. His turnaround is good. And the Raiders starting to establish themselves now. The Raiders lead at 44-32. The Raiders going with St. Peter, Barron, Bliss, Barker, and Ben Anderson as Burr Burton controls. With it is Sieska right side of the lane out to Rasheem Lee, right sideline. Picked up by Bliss on the bounce. Wanted to go inside to Brownlee, knocked away. Bliss picks it off to St. Peter, taps it ahead, intended for Barker. Lee comes over and knocks the ball out of bounds.
I believe it's going to be Rutland's ball.
It is Rutland High's basketball from the baseline with 1:35 remaining third quarter. Brent Bliss gets set to put the ball into play, gets it into Barker, right side of the lane, into the lane, short jumper, no good. Lee the rebound for Burr Burton. Rasheem Lee, Evan Hill in there right now for Burr Burton, John Wilcox, Bill Brownlee, and Matt Sieska. With it is Hill. He goes to Lee, right sideline. On the bounce, back out to Wilcox, lost control. Anderson sliding with a steal as he sent it to Barker. To Barron, right side of the lane on the bounce to Anderson in the lane. Short jumper, good off the glass. And the Raiders now have opened up a 14-point lead. It's Rutland 46, Burr Burton 32. A minute left third quarter. Hill with the top of the circle for Burr Burton. And Hill is traveling. So the Raiders will control in the backcourt.
Burr Burton's kind of unsure of themselves. The sophomore Damon Dudley is, I think he's a big key to this team, and he's been out here, and this is when the Raiders have taken advantage of this young Bulldog team.
St. Peter is whistled down for the traveling violation, lost the handle, stopped the dribble, picked it up again, so Burr Burton will control in the backcourt with 50 seconds remaining in the third quarter. Rutland High has opened up a 14-point lead. The Raiders lead at 46-32. Evan Hill on the bounce, left sideline to Sieska. And Sieska sends it out front to Wilcox. Wilcox left side of the lane, back to Sieska, left sideline up for three. No good. Rebound off St. Peter to Bliss to Barron. 30 seconds left in the quarter. Barron is fouled as he gets it into the forecourt. He was fouled by Bill Brownlee. Second on Brownlee. Third on the team. 29 seconds left in the third quarter. Bliss looking to put the ball into play for Rutland High. Gets it into play to Barron. He's by himself. He lays it in. Barron on the cut to the lane. Bliss found him, and he laid it in easily. And the Raiders lead it by 16. It's Rutland 48, Burr Burton 32. The Raiders really establishing themselves here in the third quarter. Hill has his pass knocked away, picks it up, midcourt circle, dribbles to the key. The left sideline of Brownlee tried to save it to Wilcox, couldn't do it. By Wilcox and out of bounds. The Raiders will control in the backcourt with 9 seconds remaining in the third quarter. Bliss gets the ball into play to Barker in the backcourt. Loops it back into the forecourt to Bliss. Wanted to go to Anderson by him and out of bounds. And Burr Burton will control in the backcourt with 4 seconds left in the third quarter. The Raiders, who led by 3 at halftime, now lead it by 16 as we approach the end of the third quarter. Pass comes in to Sieska. Dribbles up into the forecourt. Throws up the long bomb short as time expires, ending the third quarter. So we play 3 at the Rutland High Keep Gym. After 3, our score. Rutland High 48, Burr Burton 32. Back after this 30-second timeout. Well, the Raiders led by 3 at halftime, but outscored the Bulldogs 19-6 in the third quarter to increase their 3-point halftime lead to 16 now. As we get set for the fourth quarter, the Raiders lead at 48-32. Raiders going with Kyle Berquist, Mark Barassa is in, Ben Anderson, John Parker, and Luke Barron. John Wilcox, Matt Sieska, Rasheem Lee, Bill Brownlee, and Evan Hill in there for Burr Burton.
Big quarter for Luke Barron and Stuart St. Peter. They had 13 of the Raiders' 19 points. St. Peter with 8 of them, but still, Luke hit a big three-pointer at a crucial time.
Yes, he did.
In the third quarter.
Matter of fact, that might have been the turning point after Burr Burton had made a little run. As a matter of fact, had a three-pointer of their own right before that. Burr Burton's possession. Brownlee almost lost it to Barron, and finally did lose control. It goes out of bounds, but off the Raiders. And Burr Burton will control from the baseline. Burr Burton a couple of runs, one early in the third quarter, right before Barron hit that 3, and another one in the first quarter, but they might be out of runs now. We'll see what happens here as the Raiders have the big lead early going fourth quarter. Rasheem Lee is fouled by Kyle Berquist. And the foul on Kyle is his first, and that is the 5th on the team. The Raiders have the 16-point lead with 7:40 left in the ball game. Rasheem Lee getting set to put the ball into play. Gets it into Brownlee, knocked away by Berquist, picked off by Anderson to Luke Barron. Luke Barron roars into the forecourt. Barron to the lane on the bounce underneath to Berquist, lays it up and in. Pretty play. And the Raiders go up by a score of 50-32. Into the forecourt. Evan Hill with it for Burr Burton on the bounce down the sideline to Wilcox. Dribbles right to left, out front to Sieska. Back to Wilcox, right wing, picked up by Ben Anderson. Dribbles a few times on the bounce to Rasheem Lee near the right sideline. And he throws it on the bounce to the sideline to Sieska to the right baseline, back to Lee. Backs it up toward the sideline. Rasheem Lee dribbles right to left on Kyle Berquist. Raiders with that tough man-to-man defense tonight. Lead the key to the lane. He's fouled by Berquist. The foul on Kyle Berquist is his second, and that is now the 6th on the team. Next foul on the Raiders will send the Bulldogs to the line. Bulldogs have 3 team fouls. Into the ball game, Josh Amadon, a sophomore. Amadon is in for Rasheem Lee for Burr Burton. And Amadon will put the ball into play from the baseline, gets it into Wilcox, dribbles from the sideline to the lane, pulls up with a jumper off the rim, no good. Rebound controlled by Barron. Outlet now to Barker, down court to Barassa. Barassa loops it for Anderson, saves it, but it goes right into the hands of Wilcox. Down court to Brownlee. Brownlee dribbles into the lane, pulls up with a short jumper around the rim, no good. Rebound to Barron. Barron starts the break 2-on-2. Luke to the bucket, keeps and lays it in. Rutland 52, Burr Burton 32. 6:24 left in the ball game. Into the forecourt comes Evan Hill for Burr Burton on the bounce to Brownlee, top of the circle. Brownlee looks left, goes right wing now to Wilcox. Wilcox dribbles to the key, backs it up again, stops the dribble and goes to Sieska. Halfway between the circles, Matt Sieska holds the ball over his head. Looks right, dribbles left once and goes left sideline to Hill, back to Sieska, out front to Brownlee. Brownlee back to Sieska, left wing. Picked up by Barker off the man-to-man. Out to Wilcox, top of the circle, up for 3. It's an air ball. It goes out of bounds. So the Raiders controlling the backcourt as Mike Severson checks in for Rutland High for Luke Barron. 5:53 left in the ball game. The Raiders by 20, 52-32. Raiders are on a 17-0 run. Inbounds pass stolen away by Hill. He goes to Wilcox, lays it up, blocked by Anderson. Wilcox came back with it, goes to the right sideline. His three-point attempt is no good off the rim. Rebound goes out of bounds off the Raiders. Barker tried to save it. A 17-0 run for the Raiders right now.
Great hustle right there by Anderson. He was out of the play, but he came back and got the block.
Pass comes into Amadon, ducks underneath, lays it up, no good. A rebound to Kyle Berquist, throws it into the forecourt for Anderson. Let's see, lays it in. Thought Ben might try it. Might try the dunk, but he decided to just lay it in. He was by himself.
I think he lost his footing at the last second there.
The Raiders go up 54-32. We have 5:20 left in the ball game. It's been all Raiders here in the second half. Brownlee into the lane, splits the lane, lays it up, no good. He was fouled by Kyle Berquist. Kyle with 3 quick fouls here, his third. Was the team over the limit? It's a shooting foul anyway. As Ty Hansen, a junior, comes in for Burr Burton. Hansen is in for Evan Hill. Brownlee at the line for 2 for Burr Burton. Raiders have a 22-point lead with 5:13 left in the ball game. Actually, this Raider run has more or less been the same time when Damon Dudley went out with the injury earlier.
It was the
first point for Burr Burton in a while as Brownlee hits the first. He'll get another 54-33, Rutland.
They only had the 6 points there in the third quarter, and they were all early.
Second shot misses, rebound to Anderson, outlet to Mike Sievertson. Sievertson into the forecourt, throws it on the right to Barker near the right sideline. On the bounce to Berquist, right baseline. Out to Sievertson at the free throw line, fires and hits. Rutland 56, Burr Burton 33. Less than 5 minutes remaining in the ball game. So the Raiders getting what they wanted tonight, and they'll go into that Brattleboro game on a winning note on Friday night. We'll have that game for you on WSYB. Brownlee sends it out. Wanted to go to Amadon, knocked away, picked off by Ben Anderson. Throws it ahead now to Barker. Drives, and he's fouled. He's fouled by Ty Hansen. Foul on Hansen is his first, and that is the 4th on the team. As Rasheem Lee checks in, and also Evan Hill checks back in for Burr Burton for Brownlee, and also going out is Sieska. That is a shooting foul, by the way, the 4th team foul on Burr Burton. John Barker at the line for 2 for Rutland High. John, a 6'1 junior, fires up. He's got it. He'll get another. Rutland 57, Burr Burton 33, 4:40 left in the ball game.
It's been all Raiders here in the second half. They've outscored the Bulldogs 10-1 here in the fourth quarter.
Barker gets the second as well, and we got a violation. It's 58-33 Raiders. Ty Hansen tried to put the ball into play after that second free throw and dropped the ball in the court of play and picked it up again out of bounds, so it's the Raiders basketball. With it is Sievertson, down low to Anderson, right side of the lane, back to Sievertson. On the left now to Barker. Barker wanted to go underneath, knocked away, wanted to go to Berquist, and finally it goes out of bounds, and it goes off Burr Burton, so the Raiders will control from the baseline. Barassa, Barker, Anderson, Sievertson and Berquist right now for Rutland High. Sievertson with it, top of the circle. To the right sideline to Mark Barassa. Back out front to Barker, top of the circle, up for 3, off the back of the rim, no good. Anderson the rebound, back up and good. Tell you, Ben Anderson, 6'6 junior. The easy rebound and the easy bucket. It's Rutland 60, Burr Burton 33. Into the forecourt, Evan Hill for Burr Burton to Hansen now, halfway between the circles. On the right to Wilcox, up for 3, off the rim, no good. Rebound goes to Sievertson. Less than 4 minutes remaining in the ball game. Now with it is John Barker in the forecourt, right sideline for the Raiders. Out front, top of the circle of Barassa, left wing to Sievertson. Down low to Anderson. Back to Sievertson. He wanted to go, knocked away by Evan Hill. It went off the backboard and out of bounds. It'll be Raiders basketball from the baseline. As Brian Pinney checks in for Mike Sievertson for Rutland High. John Wilcox checks out, and Curran Lafarge is in for Burr Burton. Lafarge is a junior. First action of the ball game as Barassa loops the ball all the way out front to Pinney, left side of the circle. Wanted to go to Anderson, picked off by Lee. Rasheem Lee roars into the forecourt. Pulls up for the 12-footer. It's no good. Rebound, Ben Anderson. Ben really clearing the boards. With it now is Pinney. 3:30 left in the ball game. Pinney back to Anderson, left wing. Cross court now to Barker near the right sideline. Into the lane to Pinney. His turnaround is good. It's going to count. He got fouled. Brian Pinney, opportunity for a 3-point play. And the foul is on. What do they call that on? It's on Hill, his second. 1-1, okay.
I thought he said 12 out loud.
62-33, the Raiders with the lead. Pinney's shot is around the rim and in to complete the 3-point play. And the Raiders lead it by 30. Rutland 63, Burr Burton 33. With it is Hansen down low. Spins his shot, redirected by Anderson. And it goes out of bounds off Burr Burton. Is unable to save it was Lafarge at the baseline, and the Raiders will control in the backcourt. Well, it went from if you look at the box score, you'd look at it and say, this was a 3-point game at halftime, huh? And it was. The Raiders led by 3 at halftime. With it right wing is John Barker between the sideline and the key. Cross court to Penny, lays it up and in left-handed. Rutland 65, Burr Burton 33 with 2:57 remaining here in the ball game. Penny picks up Hill as he dribbles into the forecourt. On the bounce out front to Lafarge, up for 3, he's got it. Durham Lafarge, who checked in a few moments ago for Burr Burton, gets the 3. It's Rutland 65, Burr Burton 36. Penny into the forecourt for Rutland High. Stops top of the circle, right wing to Barassa, out to Penny, top of the circle. Down low to Anderson. Anderson is fouled by Lafarge. And that is the first on Lafarge. And I believe the 6th on the team now. And Burr Burton here in the half is checking in now is Gary Hedman for Burr Burton. Hedman is in. And he checks in for Rasheem Lee, and we got a Burr Burton timeout. Jeff Houghton wants a timeout. 2:31 left in the ball game. It's been all Raiders, especially here in the second half. It's Rutland 65, Burr Burton 36. Back after this 30-second timeout.
Philadelphia Cable with plenty of free parking.
Rutland MSJ hockey tomorrow night. We'll have it for you beginning at 6:50 here at WSYB. The Raiders and Brattleboro boys basketball Friday night. We'll have that for you beginning at 7:20 here on WSYB. Here it's Rutland 65, Burr Burton 36. 2:31 left in the ball game.
It's amazing, like you said, that this was only a 3-point game at halftime. It's going to be interesting to see, like you said, the people that read it in the paper tomorrow. 29-26 at the half, and Burr Burton's only put 10 points on the board here in the second half.
Rutland's basketball comes into Anderson to Barassa to Penny, on the right to Barker now. Into the lane to Ben Anderson. His 14-footer no good. A rebound, 5-4 tapped around. Berquist back up and good. Al Berquist kept it alive, got the offensive rebound for the bucket, and the Raiders lead it 67-36. Evan Hill into the forecourt. Evan Hill to the left side of the lane, forces the shot, too hard off the glass, no good. Barker the rebound. Goes to Penny. Penny, Barker, Barassa, Berquist, and also Anderson now. And Berquist lays it up, no good, and the rebound is controlled by the Bulldogs. Hedman comes down with it. Now Hill with it, and Hill dribbles into the forecourt. 1:50 left in the ball game. Hill looks left and goes left to Hedman. Hedman left sideline, looking around. Still looking. Covered diligently by Berquist, and he finally lost the basketball off Berquist. Berquist tried to save a nice hustle, but couldn't do it. Burr Burton's basketball from the corner. As Hill gets set to put the ball into play from the corner, the baseline. And he gets it into play to Hansen. Hansen now comes to Hedman. On the right, back to Hill. His long bomb off the rim, no good. And the rebound back up and blocked as Amadon tried to go back up with it, and the Raiders control. With it is Penny. I believe that was Anderson on the block. Now to Barker. Now to Barassa, right side of the lane. Back to Penny. Left side of the lane. His jumper is good off the glass. Went in and out and back in again. Rutland 69, Burr Burton 36. Amadon, Hill, Hansen, Hedman, and Lafarge in there right now for the Burr Burton Bulldogs. As Hansen had it at the right sideline, and he goes to Amadon. Out front to Hedman, into the lane. Running right-hander is no good, but he was fouled. Gary Hedman, a senior, will be at the line for 2 with 59 seconds left in the ball game.
It's going to be on Berquist. That's his 4th.
I'm going to call it. It was the foul was on the floor, so it was before the shot. So, but anyway, the Raiders are over the limit, so it's a 1-and-1 for Hedman. And as you said, Berquist on his 4th foul. The shot by Hedman is good. He'll get another. The Raiders lead at 69-37. Second shot by Hedman is good. Raiders lead at 69-38. Raiders have it. John Barker in the backcourt. Double team. Gets it to Penny into the forecourt. On the left, he wanted to go to Barassa. Couldn't handle it. Goes out of bounds. So with 51 seconds left in the ball game, Burr Burton will control in the backcourt. Raiders lead it by 31. 69-38. Evan Hill with it. Picked up by Penny. On the bounce, right side. It goes to Lafarge. Back to Hill. Now Amadon with it. To Hedman, left sideline. Pulls it up. Sends it back out front. He wanted to go to Amadon, try to go up with it, knocked away by Barraza. Scramble for the basketball. They're all going to the floor now, and finally a jump ball situation. And it will be Barraza and also Amadon, a little trash talking here at midcourt. It'll be Burr Burton's basketball, as Rasheem Lee gets set to check back in for Burr Burton with 28 seconds left in the ball game. It's going to be whose basketball now? Well, Burr Burton started to take it out. It's going to be Rutland's basketball. There's out of the ball game is Amadon, and in is Rasheem Lee for the Burr Burton Bulldogs. So it is Rutland's possession. Barraza puts the ball into play to Penny in the backcourt. Penny dribbles into the forecourt now. Stops the dribble on the bounce down low to Barker, and we got a foul against Hedman of Burr Burton. That would be the first on Hedman, and it's the 16th foul on Burr Burton, so it's a common foul. Are they going to call that? Oh, it is a 1-and-1, I guess. Yeah, now puts them over the limit. All right, there they go. 7 on the board. And John Barker will be at the line for the 1-and-1. His shot is good. Rutland 70, Burr Burton 38, 23 seconds left in the ball game. Second shot by John Barker is up off the back of the rim, no good. Rebound fought for. Barker saves it at the sideline out to Penny. 18 seconds left in the ball game. Now Barraza with it between the sideline and the key. Berquist to the right baseline, back out to Penny. 10 seconds left in the ball game. Raiders win this one easily. Barraza with it underneath to Anderson, and he lays it in. 72-38 Raiders, 2 seconds left. Here's Rasheem Lee from midcourt. It's short as time expires, ending the ball game. And that's your final score. Rutland High really roaring in the second half. The Raiders pulling out to a big lead. They never look back. The final score, Rutland High 72 and Burr Burton 38. Well,